right, welcome back to the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. I'm your host, Candy, and today we have something a little spicy, a little sugar up my sleeve to deliver to your ears today. This is my very first guest episode, and I think, I didn't want to bring this person on specifically straight away because I thought you people would be like, oh my God, that's so obvious. But the other day I got a download and I was like, you know what would be really fucking spicy is bringing this person on and talking about the thing that everyone wants to know the answers to. So I thought, obviously, one, that's great fucking marketing. And two, like, I'm here for the people, the people want these questions answered. So I'm going to introduce to you someone very special, not just in my life, but someone very special in thousands of people's lives. And I think she's going to have to probably come back on another episode to actually talk about her zone of genius. But today it's actually all about us. So I would love to introduce to you a incredible international world-renowned speaker, Australia's leading manifestation and business coach. She has created a fucking movie called The Manifestation Game also. We'll plug that below. Who the fuck does a movie, FYI? She's a multi-seven-figure entrepreneur. And honestly, though, I think the biggest achievement in her career and probably in her life. Yes! Why did you crack my spice?
I just fucking knew it.
Her biggest achievement is scoring me as her partner.
Yep, I would have to agree.
Yeah. So welcome, baby, to my podcast.
Hi, baby. Thanks for having me on.
Hello, thank you for joining.
You look stunning. Can't wait to take you home.
Oh, stop. We can't get them turned on.
Okay, this is not the Lesbian Codes podcast. It's your
this
podcast,
is not
right?
your podcast. This is mine.
Okay, right, got it.
Which, all spice, no sugar. You know the vibe. Let's fucking go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
Mm-hmm.
why are you actually here today?
To tell your audience, my audience, the BTS behind our love story.
Yeah, so the other day I put on my socials, and also Alex did as well. We asked you the questions. What do you want to know about our relationship? And as we expected, we got some spicy questions. So today is going to be about answering the questions that you want to know. I said to you, I'm here to deliver to the people. So, I'm thinking,
Where do we start?
do we start
How it started?
Well, I don't know, because we could be here for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. So what about if I just ask you some questions?
Great.
And we're just going to go straight into it.
Great.
Okay. So, or also, do you solemnly swear for the duration of this podcast to give all the spice and to not sugarcoat it?
Yes, I swear.
Okay. Amazing.
There may even be some things that you haven't heard before.
I know. I'm a little bit nervous.
So good.
Oh, God. All right.
Do you solemnly swear to not edit anything out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this is all the real raw. So, okay. I'm going to start with, this question. Are you open to seeing other people in your relationship or outside of it?
No. So is that a question? Are we monogamous or polyamorous?
Yeah.
Yeah, my view on that is I'm not against polyamory. I actually have a lot of respect for people that can navigate the triggers that come with what that would take to have that kind of relationship. But I just know for me, I've tried that before and it's just not for me. I'm a one woman kind of girl and I don't want to share you, Candy.
There is no candy to be shared.
What about
in this
you? You want to share
relationship.
me?
No.
Okay.
No. There's no
sharing
There
here.
is absolutely no sharing. I'm a monogamous through and through.
Yeah.
Very loyal person.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. I'm glad we got that.
I mean, I was going to say something really rude then, since we're not sugarcoating it.
What?
That, in the future, maybe one day, who knows, she's very satisfied now. But I don't know if Candy's going to miss the D and if she wants to be intimate with a masculine again. And if we're going to be together really long term, then I want to believe that I'm open enough that we can create a safe space and environment where you get to explore that and it's not considered cheating and it's a safe space and whatever that looks like. So
Yeah.
does that mean we'd be opening ourselves to other sexual energies? Yes. But for now, it's a no.
Yeah. And okay, I want to riff on this because that's really interesting because me being pansexual, meaning that I fall in love with a soul, so I'm gender neutral in the sense of who I
Fall in love
am
with.
intimate with and fall in love with, as opposed to you identify as being lesbian. So that creates, I wouldn't say like it creates questions, but it's definitely a conversation that we've had a number of times. And I think it's really interesting. And like, you're right. Like, I can't say that, okay, maybe along the line, I may miss the D. And right now I haven't. So we're good. But then, and
You're
also
watching
saying,
Alex glaze over in trigger in this podcast.
but
Jokes.
in all honesty, though, like, I know that, you've also had moments, like, even after your previous relationship, you went and had sex with a man. So even though that I am, I guess, the bisexual one, those questions still arise within me if you want that as well. Because I know that you've been in a position where you're like, oh, I want to see if I am actually fully gay and just like go and, get the D. And so those questions come up for me as well. And I think that's why having like the level of conversation that we do and the open and transparency that we do have in our relationship is so important. And also naturally talking about this to normalize potentially if that does happen.
Yeah.
Um,
I think for me, it's like I always want to make sure we're in a relationship where these conversations are safe to bring up. Because the
Yeah.
last thing that I would want is for you to have a desire or me to have a desire and for it to feel so forbidden or like shameful that we kind of stuff it down and months or years go by where we are not really like, fully sexually fulfilled. And it
yeah.
doesn't even mean that we have to act on these fantasies or desires, but sometimes just voicing, hey, like I'm craving being pounded by a man. Great. Awesome. Let's talk about it. And for it not to, whether I say that or whether you say that,
Yeah.
for me to not make it mean that you don't love me anymore or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fully. And I think something that came up for me is what would be the difference. So right now we're talking about, like, obviously we're in a homosexual relationship and talking about being intimate heterally, so with a man, and what if it's a woman?
Yeah. So I understand where you're going because it's like, well, what's the difference between you desiring to be with a man in the future, let's say, versus me desiring to be with another woman in the future, right? It's
Yeah.
another person, whether it be
What gives them more charge though? So what drives a more energetic charge of like oh like that makes me uncomfortable? Is it the man or the woman?
it's really interesting because I understand if you would want to be with a man more, and that's less triggering. But I think it's because I arrogantly think like, go fuck another woman tomorrow. Like you've got the best. Like I'm just not threatened. Like try find a lesbian like me out there, babes. I've been there. I've done that. It's anywho's.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've
so
got the creme de la creme
creme
over
de la
here.
creme over here. The icon with the icon. Okay. All right.
And same
Interesting.
goes with you. Like, I'm just like, I can't see a reality where I want another woman because I'm just like, I'm with Candy. She's
Yeah.
fucking amazing.
Yeah. I mean, like, in all honesty, a more emotional charge for me is you with another woman, because I know that you will. I know that, like, whilst yes, you can go be intimate and have sex with a man, you will never fall in love with a man.
No.
And
And I won't have the passion or the presence or the depths
yeah,
or the emotional connection that I need and desire and can create with a woman. With a man, it's just pound town and high
yeah,
five, see you fucking later. But with a woman, it's like I'm in a vortex.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that obviously scares me a lot more.
Yeah.
So
And that scares me because I'm like, would you potentially have, is there a depth that you could experience with a man that I don't know about? Because I don't know what you're like with a man. I just know what you're like with a woman.
yeah.
This is like really raw over here,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is.
Shit.
Well, I
Let's
said
continue
this
this
all.
conversation later tonight, baby.
And that I think is a great segue to lead into like the next question that we had here from one of our followers. Shout out to Emma. Which
Lots of questions
lots
from
of
Emma.
questions
Thank
from
you.
Emma. Keep them spicy. So for there's two questions here. So Candy, Candy, has this been your first relationship with a woman? How have you been navigating it? And like, yes, this is the first relationship that I've been in with a woman. I had like kissed a girl before, but I had never been like sexually, like deeply sexually intimate with a woman, let alone be in a loving, committed, long-term relationship with a woman.
Took her a while to warm her up, by the way, guys. Let's just say she was, like kind of like dipping her toes in the water in the first few weeks, weren't you? Kind of like, oh, what do I do down there? I'm a bit scared. I'm a
Obviously.
bit scared. What if I don't like it? What if I get it wrong? It was so interesting because,
That is
like,
so
I feel like
raw.
we were so into each other so quickly.
I know.
And then, like, I think it's almost like you had this fear that if you like fucked me and you didn't enjoy it, then the relationship's over.
Yeah.
Because then you realize, oh fuck, I'm not gay.
Yeah.
Fuck. And you didn't want it to end because it was so good.
Yeah.
So we waited a while before,
Alex had to learn what the word patient
Oh my
meant.
fucking God.
And Alex being Alex doesn't like the word
Patience is not in my dictionary.
But was it worth waiting for?
You were absolutely worth waiting for, baby. Yeah. And a natural, can I just say?
And a natural. Wow.
Not that I want to promote you back when you are in bed. She's shit.
She's all yours, baby. I'm all yours.
Okay. I'm yours, baby. All right, what else?
Well, I guess then that leads into how does it feel for you, and what are things that you had to navigate through, knowing that this was the first time that I was with a woman, and being a seasoned lesbian over here.
I feel like most of the girls I've been with, I've either been there first or they've been bisexual. And potentially it's because my type is feminine. And part of that means I think part of me is kind of always liked being the one that is more experienced because it's made me feel safe as well. I don't really know how to answer that, to be honest. What do you reckon I had to navigate? Oh, you know what I did have to navigate? I questioned you a lot at the start, didn't I?
Yeah.
I was questioning. I knew you weren't
And I
with
actually, to be honest, think that contributed to our breakup,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
which we're about to get into.
So like I knew you weren't with me because I'm Alex Tripod. And I do feel like there was moments where I'm like, if I wasn't who I was in the personal development industry, like
Would I still be
Would
attracted
she,
to you?
yeah, would she be attracted to me? But I'm like, that's kind of a stupid question because the reason I am who I am in the industry is because of my soul essence and my self belief and my codes. And that's what my energy, right? And that's
And
what
that's
you're
what I'm
attracted
attracted
to.
to. I know. It's like
So it's
a
kind of
never
like,
ending paradox.
yeah. And I think yeah, it was just one of those things where I was like questioning how truly bisexual you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is a valid question, considering that it was
Because I
like,
didn't want to waste my time.
yeah,
Because I'm like, I'm fucking 39, I'm 40 now. Fucking 39, you're 25. I don't want to waste my fucking time if this is just like, if I'm a plaything. I don't want to be someone's experiment.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which is valid.
Mm.
Fair enough. And yeah, like I was saying before, I think that questioning, it really frustrated me because I felt like you were questioning my character. And I'm not someone who, like, I've only had one long term relationship before you. And I'm not someone who just gets into things with people.
Yeah,
So
you've
the
been
fact,
single for 4 years, haven't
yeah,
you? Yeah.
I had one situationship and a few flings, but I hadn't been in a committed relationship for about 4 years.
Mm.
And that was a choice because same as what you're saying, I don't want to waste my time on someone that I'm not fully committing to.
Mm.
And for me, I felt like the questioning coming from you, which was valid because you're trying to create safety and certainty of pursuing this relationship, it frustrated me because I was like, but don't you get it? Like, I'm here because I want to be and I am choosing to be and I am committed to experiencing this relationship. And my choice to explore the relationship was a commitment.
Mm.
And I was just frustrating for me because I was like, but don't you get it? Because you were judging, you were not judging, but you were questioning
It's
my
questioning.
loyalty and my character, which
Yeah.
for me is like this, but that's not who I am
Yeah.
because yeah, I feel like
And I
it's
think what contributed that to that as well is you were fiercely all in the now. And in the now is all we have, but that also contributed to our breakup
yeah,
because we always, and I know we'll get to this, but we had this really interesting, just like constant, um, ongoing dialogue that this isn't there's an expiration date to this.
yeah,
And it was just like normalized, like, oh, like we're happy now, this is really fun, this is great, but we
yeah,
both just know that there's an expiration date.
yeah,
And so like that's what kind of had me also question your sexuality too, because I'm like, oh, I'm just a good time, I'm a fun time, I'm not a long time.
yeah. And I think as well, me coming to terms with my sexuality also that felt like kind of like
Safer.
that felt safer, and that also kind of felt like oh, it potentially is an out if I actually am not fully okay with this, then the fact that this is in the now and I choose this in the now and it's okay if this is not a long-term thing. I was like, "Oh, okay, well, that makes it me feel safer to exit." And I think this is really interesting leading into the breakup as well
Yeah.
was the fact that we have both been the person to leave in the past for our
Mm.
relationships
Mm.
and having that um I guess having that ability to be the person that walked away, and both being the person who walks away, I think contributed to the separation.
Yep.
Whether it was a little bit of stubbornness and whether we were both in a bit of our righteousness, but then also like having the strength to walk away.
I don't think there was righteousness or stubbornness. Like, I actually think we both had courage. It was
Yeah.
courage for me to bring it up, courage for you to actually accept it, and then also know what like, yes, this needs to end. Like, imagine if we didn't have that
I
break.
know.
Like, the same shit would have perpetuated, and I would have been holding on to a relationship. That timeline was no longer in alignment, and I would have been holding on to you out of fear that, like, I won't get any better or I'm not good enough. I'm like, we both just activated in new levels of self-worth. Well, I know I did. And then you rose to meet me. And we just both fucking quantum shifted in that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't even relate to that version of me. I
I
can't
know.
even like, yeah, it was completely different.
So, in your view, what was the reason? Like, why did we break up? What was the reason?
This is twofold for me. The first one, I'm pretty sure I've told you this, but I'm not sure if I have.
God. Okay.
When we were in Thailand, I'm really scared to say this, but I took a solemnly swearing oath to not sugarcoat it. When we were in Thailand, I received a download and it was, she's not your wife. And I was like, and it's like, she's not your wife. Like, your wife is coming. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then I didn't want to hear it because, like, I was happy with you and this is the most stable, calm, loving relationship I've ever been in. I'm like, fuck off. And you know me, when I get soul downloads, it's just like, and then it was like, what, like 2 weeks later or something like that, or not long after. So I guess I share that with you because, number one, I think that came from this inevitability of me approaching 40 and me evaluating what I actually want in my life, what I'm allowing, what I'm not allowing. What I realized was I don't want to be allowing a relationship where there's a constant talk of normalizing that there's an expiration date. And like, if we're talking like that, then clearly there's no potential of you being my wife. I don't need to know that you're 100% guaranteed going to be my wife and we're going to live happily ever after, because that's just an illusion. But I need to know that there's a possibility. So with that, like the impatient or courageous, whatever you want to call it, was like, I have to end this. I have to end this because Candy's not. Candy's happy and she'll let this go on for another 6 months or a year. But I can't waste my time because I'm older.
Yeah.
The second part of it was, and I'd mentioned it a few times, but I never did anything to encourage it or create space for it, was I knew there was a deeper layer to us. I knew there was a depth that we weren't quite like meeting, like in communication, in the bedroom. There was a deeper presence, spiritually and emotionally, that I was craving from the woman that I knew was going to be my wife, that we weren't quite hitting. And that was the confirmation my ego needed to be like, well, then she's not my wife. There's an expiration date and she can't meet me emotionally.
Yeah.
So what do you think I can do to it?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it was obviously the conversations of it ending. I was like, well, if we're having these conversations, then maybe we aren't supposed to be together. And I think for me it was the mismatch of security in a way. And for me, I felt confused. And you were asking for commitment in the long term about wanting to like talk about marriage and children. And I'd always been quite transparent in the beginning of our relationship, being like, I don't know if that is
like we never talked about the future ever.
Yeah. And
which was really cool because it was the first relationship I've ever been in that we didn't, like, I love that we didn't grab certainty from the future.
Yeah. And I'd always been pretty transparent around I'm open to children and marriage, but not now.
Yeah.
And I don't know when that now is going to come.
Yeah.
But right now, it's not right now.
Yeah.
And as you can tell, I'm very much in the now. And I was like, that's all I know. I don't even know what I'm doing in my business in 6 to 12 months' time. So how can I tell you what I want in my relationship in 2 to 5 years from now? All I know is right now, I don't want those things. And you wanted to find safety in the relationship by me giving you that certainty, and that's something that I felt I couldn't give you. In retrospect, I was trying to find security in the safety in the now by creating, like, by getting a commitment from you in the now. Like, example, living
Yeah.
together.
So I wanted to talk about marriage. She wanted to talk about moving in. And I was like, ew to moving in. And she was like, ew to marriage. So we're like, she's like, so you want to marry me but not moving with me? And I'm like, so you want to move in with me but not get married to me? Why do that? We're just going to break up. Why would I move in with someone that we're just going to have to inevitably break up? That's just stupid. And she's like, why would you want to marry me if you're not ready to move? So
Yeah.
it's like so
It was just
hilarious.
so interesting because
Yeah.
we were both searching for the same thing, which
Yep.
was safety and security
Yep.
and certainty. But we were both going about it in different ways, in our own ways, and we couldn't see eye to eye in that.
Yep.
And
So what do two main characters do?
so we courageously decided to
Had a very transparent conversation, didn't we?
have a very transparent conversation. I think it was one of the hardest things I navigated through, and also the most beautiful experience.
That was hands down probably the hardest breakup I've ever had to do, because it was like
Never walked away from someone that I'm still in love with.
nailed it. Never ever. Not only still in love with, but happy, healthy, calm relationship. You know, every relationship I've walked away from has been, we've been looping for months or years. There's triggers that are unresolved. We're unhappy. It's sexless. We're fighting all the time. There's unconscious patterns. There's traumas. There's wounds. With you, it was just calm, stable, loving, beautiful. And I questioned myself so many times, like, you fucking idiot. Are you actually going to fucking walk away from this? And yeah, that was really, really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I think we were opposite in our reactions. So
Mhm.
you went into the emotional grief really
Immediately.
quickly, and it hit for me, it hit me later. And the first few days I was actually okay. I was like, okay, I'm fine. I'll be okay. This is it. And there was
Meanwhile, I was screaming my apartment down, holding myself in grief, fucking fetal position, wailing, crying, having embodiment coaching sessions with my coach, trying to process this fucking grief.
Yeah, well, it's just, I guess, the reality of an avoidant. I'm just gonna go to Melbourne. I'm just gonna go fucking here and there. And I was avoiding.
Although I will say kudos to you, because you had like a VIP day booked in with your client in Melbourne and things that you couldn't have avoided.
Yeah.
And the fact that you continued to show up, like, I actually really respect that. Like, there's one thing you got to know about Candy. Like her new nickname is Miss Integrity. Like, when she says she's going to do something, she always follows through. And I feel like this is why you have such a incredible level of self-belief or delulu belief, because you have built that internal trust, because you always follow through with what you say you're going to do. And it's just like, it's one of the most attractive, sexy qualities about you, because if you're like that with yourself, I know you're like that in partnership, which you are.
Thanks, baby. Yeah, and the second week of the breakup is when everything felt like it was crumbling down for me, which was so
Which is when I was trying to
divinely.
move on.
Yeah.
I'm manifesting my wife. I'm like, all right, cool, that's done.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on. Meanwhile, I'm in my fucking grief portal, like, she's moved on. She's found someone else. And it it fucking rocked me. Yet it was necessary because it allowed me to have so much fucking spaciousness and time to really reflect on how I showed up in the relationship. And not only that, but how I showed up for myself. And the biggest breakthrough that I had that made me decide that I wasn't done, and I wanted to continue our relationship and not have that be the end was the moment when I realized that I hadn't allowed myself to fully love you and hadn't allowed myself to fully receive your love. And I wouldn't have known that, and I wouldn't have come to that realization without the crumbling, without the breakup. And it's almost sad because that amount of pain cracked open my heart to a whole new layer and level of love that I had never fully experienced before. And even intimately, it allowed me to give and fully receive intimately in a way that I'd never experienced or expressed before.
Yeah. And I think what people are probably still trying to make sense of and trying to understand is that, and this is something I really want to like make clear, just because I received she's not your wife, that was true. And that was true for that timeline, for that version of me. And
Yeah.
that's what I needed to hear in order to have the courage to walk away from something that was no longer in alignment.
Yeah.
And so I think it would have been so easy for me to get in my head and be like, am I denying God, source energy, my team, and what they were sharing with me? Right. And so I still honored it. And then we needed to shift and have those shifts to come back together. Meanwhile, I went through a grief portal and we did it in different times. And whilst I was manifesting my wife, I was in the quantum manifesting her and really getting clear on like what are the standards? Who do I want to be with? How do we relate? What's the depth that I'm actually wanting, right? And it's interesting because I actually believe that, I mean, I'm just going to say it the way it is. Like, I believe that through what you navigated, you like rose to a whole different timeline for me to actually see the potential of, holy fuck, this could actually be everything I've ever wanted. And then that night that you came over, the night before you left for LA, it was just like, I don't even know how to explain that night.
Yeah.
That was fucking wild. And like you said, like the depths that we explored intimately, it was like a cosmic, it was like our galactic teams were there.
Yeah.
The most cosmic lovemaking of my life.
Yes.
Fucking amazing.
Yes.
And I know since then we've made it a priority to continue, you know, like deepening our communication, deepening our intimacy, and not just being like, oh, okay, cool, it's there now. Like, well, no, it's not. It's like a business, right? And you know, I'm big on this, like, and we're at different stages in our business. But you know, like if we just put like 10% of energy that we put into our fucking mission and making money and serving humanity into our relationship, we actually have a chance of having a long-lasting, healthy relationship.
Yeah.
So we're doing a relationship course at the moment because it's like, well, instead of letting it get shit, why don't we actually do a module once a week or once a fortnight while we're in a good place?
Yeah.
And it's really helped.
Yeah. And I know you said this earlier, like I feel so disconnected from the previous relationship.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even feel like,
I mean, I think talking about kids still scared you.
well, I'm the
I
one
really
who
pushed the
has to
boundaries.
fucking birth the thing. You're good, okay? What if we started flipping the script? Okay, you want to have a baby.
No, surrogacy. We're
Yeah.
going to export it to someone else.
Exactly. So it's a different situation.
Yes, okay.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, great. Yeah.
And I think coming back to obviously taking that time and giving that 10% into the relationship. And this was a question that we got from our audience as well, was how do you even navigate? Like, we're both mission souls. We both spend ridiculous amount of hours working on our business, on our mission, even though that we're pretty, we live a pretty freedom led
We're obsessed with
lifestyle.
what we
We're
do.
also
Yeah,
obsessed
we're
with what we
obsessed.
do. And we spend countless hours consistently creating, expanding, amplifying, improving.
Pushing the edges.
So how do we navigate prioritizing time in our businesses and in our relationship?
I think
I actually don't even think it hasn't even been hard.
No, it hasn't been hard at all.
No.
No. And what's been really interesting, it's been really hard in my other relationships.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So I really want to get our human designs read because I've never slept more comfortably with anyone in my entire life.
Yeah.
I also feel like the fact that you've moved into my apartment, and for me, like I was a bit worried, but the fact that like our apartment now, but I was like, it was my
I
apartment and
know.
you've moved in. But I'm like two entrepreneurs where there's no office,
Yeah.
right? And we've got Zoom calls and sales calls, but like for just some reason, it just fucking works.
Yeah.
And so I feel like your open centers must be my closed centers or vice versa. Beyond
Yeah.
that though, like I do feel like we've got some pretty healthy relationship rituals that create that constant connection. Like I know you've got a pretty busy week this week.
Yeah.
And without like going home and us making lunch together and us what's three things you're grateful for, when we go to bed tonight, what is your highlight of your day? These little touch points that we have, right? Even if we're not fucking every day or whatever it is, doesn't have to be like eye gazing and kundalini every day or even
Yeah.
like multiple times a week. But the fact that we've got these simple, basic relationship rituals, which we can do a whole other podcast on if you want, I think for me anyway, I know if we go days without that, I start to feel disconnected. And then when I do feel disconnected, I am so open about it.
Yeah.
And we course correct almost immediately.
Yeah. I agree. I don't find prioritizing time is an issue.
Although remember at the start of our relationship, how much you were like, fuck, you love quality time. So quality
Yeah.
time is my number one love language.
I
And you were
actually
like, I
think
don't.
it is. I think physical touch is your
Okay.
physical touch and quality time.
But anyway, Candy's love language of quality time is all the way up.
It has grown. Yeah. So that's interesting. And I want to go down the route of like love languages as well because I know that that's been a journey for us and something that the breakup also helped open up that path to discovery.
Yeah.
And I think with the breakup, it allowed us to both reflect. And okay, so maybe I'm speaking for myself here because I know how much I fucking reflected and looked internally. And for me, I was just, and for me, it gave me an opportunity to see how I was showing up in the relationship. And I realized like, holy fuck, I am giving the love that I want to receive. And I think that's a huge thing in having a really strong relationship is being able to learn the love language of the other person and to give the love that they want to receive, not what you want to receive. Because I know that I was doing all of these acts of services and like words of affirmation and like gifts and stuff like that. And I felt so unseen.
Like you were constantly thinking about me, cup of coffee, acts of service. And I was just like, just fucking slap my ass and look in my eyes and tell me that you fucking love me. Like shake me and be like, fucking love you. Like give me words of affirmation and physical touch.
Yeah.
I don't
Meanwhile,
want the
I'm
rest.
receiving all of these things.
Meanwhile, I'm like, baby, you're so amazing. Blah, 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 blah.
Like,
Can't stop
touching
And she's just
me.
like, oh my God.
I'm like, my physical touch threshold is peaking. And
I'm at the threshold.
and then, of course, naturally, because I was at that threshold, but I wasn't able to communicate that because I didn't really conceptualize that was what was happening. I was then pushing you away, and that shut you down. That made you feel like I didn't love you. I didn't want your love. And so the breakup made me realize, like, oh my God, no wonder why she felt so disconnected because I was like pushing her away. And I also know as well that there was a part of me that was just like protecting myself through that. And I was like, well, if I'm going to commit to this relationship and I guess give it another go, I'm fully opening up myself to receiving all of the love and giving all of the love. And that's been one of the most, I think, I guess, up levels in our relationship is our love language, I feel. And thanks to the incredible course that we're doing right now, we've learned so much about ourselves and each other. And
What about just, I reckon it's also like the vulnerability, even in like, I know you've given me like a light language healing, and I've light
yeah,
language you during sex, and like we would never have done that before. So
yeah,
it's like
the
there's a
depth.
different level of energetic and spiritual gifts that are being shared between us as well. And
Yeah,
I'm also understanding that um, you know, intimacy can actually be like that, you know, a cuddle, an eye gaze, light language, whatever it is. It doesn't always have to be sex,
yeah.
which is one of my biggest things that I've had to navigate through in past
Mm-hmm.
relationships.
Yeah. And also for me, wanting, like, I love that connection and wanting to experience those things, but not wanting it to lead into sex, but feeling like it always does. So then stopping it before it gets there. And
Mm.
it's just like this, ah, like we couldn't quite find that sweet spot. And I think now we're really working towards that. And it's created such a healthy level of emotional, physical, spiritual, intellectual intimacy that we didn't have before.
You're so beautiful right now. Like stunning.
Were you listening to
I
me?
am fucking listening to every word. She thinks I don't listen to her. I'm sometimes mesmerized by this beauty, this beautiful woman, and I listen to every word, but also I'm just like, no.
It's just drooling. She'll just stop me mid sentence to kiss me, and I'm like, "Are you
I
listening to
do. And
me?"
she just walks around, you know, with a G string sometimes in the apartment, and she expects me to not like, you know, like, you've got the best ass in the world, babe. What the fuck am I meant to do? Just ignore it? Like, it's hard. I said to you, remember, number one thing is the day that you walk past me naked and I ignore you, that's when you start worrying.
Yes, this is true.
Okay.
This is true. Oh my god. All right. Well, I
Trust me to
think
turn it sexual.
yeah, of course. I think that's where we should end this podcast before we get any more rogue, because who knows, we'll probably get cancelled before I even launch this podcast.
Nah, never.
So, um, I guess if you don't know who this human is on the other side of the podcast, how can people find you?
Get on my Instagram and go watch my movie. It's my life story and it'll change your fucking life.
Yes.
I don't know.
Alex
YouTube,
Tripod.
Alex Tripod Instagram, Alex Tripod Facebook, Alex Tripod TikTok.
Alex Tripod Google. I was actually trying to find any Alex Tripod, seeing if you were on Reddit the other day.
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone thinks I'm part of a pyramid scheme.
We all, aren't we all?
Yeah, but
We're
you know,
all a part of it.
if you've made it on Reddit
You've
and
made
you've
it
been called a
around.
scammer, you fucking made it.
Yes. Fuck the Matrix.
Yes.
Okay, baby.
Thanks for having me on, baby. It
Well,
was fun.
now we can go home and you can cook me lunch because I've done a little work this morning. And maybe some spicy time.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Thank you for listening to the Don't Sugarcoat It podcast. I hope you enjoyed the juice and the squeeze of all things of Alex and I's relationship. Wow. Okay, we're going to go home now. Okay, bye. I'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.